The galactic rulers laughed as Earth's defenses flickered on their screens, mockingly dismissing it as an insignificant threat. But they stopped laughing the moment the Titan-class warship appeared, cutting through their fleet like a knife through butter. "You thought we were weak," Commander Ava Hart said as the Titan's engines roared to life. "Now you're about to learn why you never underestimate Earth." The council chamber of the Galactic Dominion was a monument to arrogance. Floating in the void between galaxies, it housed the 7 beings who controlled over 10,000 star systems. They'd conquered species that could manipulate gravity, races that had achieved immortality, civilizations that had unlocked the secrets of time itself. And now they were discussing Earth. "Show me again," Lord Zoller commanded, his crystalline form pulsing with amusement. "I need another laugh." The hologram replayed Earth's message to the Galactic Dominion. A human woman in military uniform. Commander Ava Hart stood before what appeared to be a shipyard. Behind her, workers scrambled over the hull of a large vessel. "To the Galactic Dominion," Hart said in the recording, her voice steady. "Earth formally requests recognition as a sovereign world under the Protected Species Act. We have developed defensive capabilities that meet your requirements. We await your response." The chamber erupted in laughter. 7 different species, 7 different forms of mockery. "Defensive capabilities," wheezed Executor Thrain, his gaseous form shimmering. "They welded metal plates together and called it a warship. Did you see the size?" Admiral Krex added, tentacles writhing in mirth. "Our scout drones are larger than their defensive capability." Lord Zoller raised a crystalline hand for silence. "Send the 3rd Fleet. Make it quick. I have a quantum golf tournament this afternoon." The order went out. 37 warships, each capable of cracking a moon, set course for Earth. It would be, they assumed, a brief entertainment. On Earth, alarms screamed across every military installation. The 3rd Fleet had arrived, their ships blotting out the stars. Each vessel was a masterwork of destruction, sleek, efficient, armed with weapons that could turn matter into energy and energy into nothing. "Commander Hart," Lieutenant Torres reported, his voice tight. "They're demanding immediate surrender. No negotiation." Ava Hart stood on the bridge of humanity's greatest secret, hidden in the shadow of Earth's moon. The Titan-class warship wasn't beautiful. It wasn't sleek. It looked like someone had welded a city to a set of engines and strapped guns to every available surface. "How many ships?" Hart asked. 37, ma'am. Each one could take on our entire conventional fleet." "Good." Hart's smile was sharp. "I'd hate for this to be boring. All hands, this is the commander. They came here thinking we're prey. Time to show them we're the ambush predator they never saw coming. Activate the Titan." The moon's surface cracked. What the Dominion had dismissed as a crater was actually a door that now opened to reveal humanity's answer to galactic arrogance. The Titan rose from its hidden dock like a metal mountain given wings. It wasn't elegant like the Dominion ships. It was brutal, functional, and absolutely massive. Every inch of its hull bristled with weapons, not energy projectors or quantum manipulators, but good old-fashioned kinetic weapons scaled up to absurd proportions. On the Dominion flagship, Admiral Krex watched his sensors in confusion. That's not possible. The mass readings must be wrong." "Admiral," his tactical officer warbled, "that ship it's nearly the size of our dreadnought. How did they hide it?" "It doesn't matter," Krex snapped. "It's still just one ship. All vessels, standard dispersal pattern. Vaporize it." 37 ships opened fire simultaneously. Energy beams that could punch through asteroid fields converged on the Titan. The space around it turned into a light show of destructive force. When the glare faded, the Titan was still there. "Impossible," Krex breathed. On the Titan's bridge, Hart felt the ship shudder slightly. "Damage report?" "Ablative armor down to 97%, came the response. "Their weapons are primarily energy-based. The tungsten ceramic composite is dispersing the heat better than projected." "Beautiful." Hart opened a channel to the Dominion fleet. "Lord Zoller, Admiral Krex, distinguished members of the Galactic Dominion. That was your free shot. Our turn." The Titan's weapons weren't sophisticated. They didn't manipulate fundamental forces or bend reality. They simply threw chunks of metal very, very fast. Railguns the size of skyscrapers accelerated projectiles to significant fractions of light speed. Missile tubes that could have served as subway tunnels launched swarms of nuclear-tipped interceptors. The first Dominion ship to die was a destroyer that had drifted too close. A railgun slug punched through its shields like they were tissue paper, continued through the hull, and exited the other side. The ship didn't explode, it simply ceased to function, venting atmosphere and crew into the void. Scatter, Krex ordered. Evasive maneuvers. But the Titan wasn't done. Missile swarms erupted from its hull, each warhead smart enough to track, dodge, and find weak points. The Dominion's point defenses, designed for energy weapons, struggled with the sheer mass of physical projectiles. "They're using kinetics," the tactical officer reported, voice high with disbelief. "Primitive kinetics. Our shields aren't calibrated for." Another ship died, split in half by a tungsten rod moving at 10% the speed of light. Hart watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. "You see, the thing about humanity is we're really good at throwing rocks. We've just been practicing with bigger rocks." The battle turned into a massacre. The Dominion fleet, for all their advanced technology, had forgotten the first rule of space combat. Physics doesn't care how sophisticated you are. F equals ma works the same for everyone. The Titan weathered their energy weapons, its massive heat sinks and ablative armor absorbing punishment that would have vaporized a smaller ship. In return, it filled space with metal, slugs, missiles, even clusters of ball bearings moving fast enough to punch through shields. "This is impossible." Lord Zoller's image appeared on the screen, his crystalline form flickering with rage. "You're using primitive weapons. Barbaric kinetics." "Primitive?" Hart laughed. "You came at us with lights. Pretty lights that follow predictable patterns, that lose cohesion over distance, that our armor can disperse. We came at you with math. Force equals mass times acceleration, and we've got a lot of mass moving very fast." The Titan's main gun fired, a spinal-mounted railgun that ran nearly the entire length of the ship. The projectile was the size of a building, accelerated to 20% the speed of light. It hit the Dominion dreadnought dead center. The dreadnought's shields flared, overloaded, and died. The projectile kept going, punching through the hull, the core, and out the other side. Secondary explosions rippled through the massive ship as vital systems failed. "Retreat!" Krex screamed. "All ships, emergency jump!" But the Titan had one more surprise. Hundreds of smaller railguns opened fire, not at the ships, but at the space around them. The projectiles were special, each one trailing a cloud of metallic chaff, creating an expanding field of interference. "They're disrupting our jump calculations," someone reported. "We can't form a stable wormhole in this debris field." The remaining Dominion ships found themselves trapped, unable to flee, unable to fight effectively against an enemy that had turned their technological superiority against them. "Please!" Lord Zoller's image appeared again, his arrogance replaced by fear. "We yield. The Galactic Dominion yields." Hart stood from her command chair, looking at the broken fleet before them. 23 ships destroyed, the rest crippled and helpless. All done by one primitive human warship. "Here's what's going to happen," Hart said, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's long, violent history. "You're going to limp back to your council. You're going to tell them that Earth is under our protection now. You're going to spread the word that we might be young, we might be primitive, but we're also the species that figured out how to kill with rocks and never stopped improving." She paused, letting them see the Titan in all its brutal glory. "You came here with energy weapons and shields, thinking that made you superior. We came here with metal and math because we know something you forgot in all your advancement." Lord Zoller's form flickered. "What's that?" "The universe doesn't care how advanced you are. It only cares how hard you can hit." "And humanity?" Hart's smile was cold. "We've been practicing hitting hard since we climbed down from the trees. You use energy because it's elegant. We use kinetics because they work." The surviving Dominion ships limped away, their jump drives finally managing to form unstable wormholes. As the last ship vanished, Hart's crew erupted in cheers. "Ma'am," Torres said quietly, "they'll be back. With bigger fleets. Better defenses against kinetics." "Let them come," Hart replied, looking at the debris field that had once been the Dominion's third fleet. "We've got bigger rocks. And if that doesn't work?" She turned to face her crew. "Well, we've gotten pretty good at splitting atoms too." The Titan hung in space, battered but victorious. Earth's children had sent a message to the galaxy written in tungsten and mathematics. They might be young, they might be considered primitive, but they had something the advanced races had forgotten in their reliance on energy shields and beam weapons. They remembered that sometimes the old ways were best. That technology was just a tool, and the hand that wielded it mattered more than how shiny it was. The message spread through the galactic dominion like wildfire. Earth had won. Not through superior technology, not through energy manipulation or quantum mechanics, but through the systematic application of mass and velocity. They turned warfare into a physics equation and solved for victory. In the council chamber, Lord Zoller faced his peers. His crystalline form was cracked, damaged from the feedback of his dreadnought's destruction. They threw rocks at us, he said, his voice hollow. Sophisticated rocks, but rocks nonetheless. And they won. Impossible, Executor Thrain hissed. We are the pinnacle of evolution. The masters of energy itself. And they, Zoller replied, calling up an image of the Titan, are the masters of hitting things very, very hard. Shall we test them again? The silence was answer enough. Back on Earth, Commander Hart stood before the world's leaders. The Titan proved what we always knew, she said. You don't need to be the most advanced to be the most dangerous. You just need to understand your enemy's weakness and exploit it ruthlessly. The Dominion forgot that warfare is, at its core, about applying force to achieve objectives. They got so caught up in how they applied it, they forgot that we could apply it better. She looked at the images of the battle, at the Dominion's sophisticated ships torn apart by humanity's primitive weapons. They laughed at us because we still use kinetics. Because we still think in terms of mass and velocity instead of energy manipulation. But there's a reason we never abandoned the old ways, a reason we just scaled them up instead of replacing them. The room waited. Hart's expression was fierce, proud, and utterly human. Because in the end, when all the shields are down and all the energy is spent, physics is physics. And physics? Physics doesn't give a damn about your technology level. It only cares about one thing, momentum. And humanity has been building momentum for 10,000 years. We're not the most advanced species in the galaxy. We're just the ones who never forgot that sometimes the best solution to a problem is to hit it with a really big rock moving really, really fast.